A very warm welcome to IDFC FIRST Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11. I'm Ritvika Gupta and you're watching our very special award series all through this week. Tonight we are putting the spotlight on the transformative impact of digital infrastructure on India's economy. On the show today, Mr. V Vaidyanathan, MD and CEO of IDFC FIRST Bank, shares expert insights with Mihir Bhatt, Managing Editor, Times Network and Business Head, Times Influence, on financial inclusion driven by policy changes, adoption of technology through DPIs and the MSME ecosystem in India.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to welcome our next speaker. Now, he became a member of the board of a large bank at just 38 years of age. He started his entrepreneurial journey by acquiring an NBFC with a plan to convert it to a bank. He then turned it around and built it to scale with a loan book of 30,000 crore rupees to consumers and small entrepreneurs. Then, in a rare achievement, he merged his NBFC with a bank and came back to banking as the MD and CEO of IDFC FIRST Bank. He's also been named the most inspirational CEO 2022 by the Economic Times. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Managing Director and CEO of IDFC FIRST Bank, Mr. V Vaidyanathan, as he joins us virtually for a fireside chat with Mihir Bhatt, Managing Editor, Times Network and Business Head, Times Influence.
Thank you, Sumit. I want to ask you, my first question is basically about this whole optimism that we are witnessing about India at global level. One thing is Indians are very optimistic about future of India, but we are seeing that optimism globally. What are the fundamental reasons for this optimism?
First of all, to all viewers present there, it's a packed room. I saw my very heartiest compliments for getting here, and for all the winners of today, very heartiest compliments. I wish I could be there in person, but a ligament injury kept me back. Let me, to your question now, Mihir, the key thing that makes, everybody's talking India these days. Within India, we can't talk enough of our own future and opportunities. The reason mainly is that we have a government which is very clearly focused for growth. When you have a tagline or when you have an ambition called Viksit Bharat 2047, you're already feeling excited. You know that the country is directionally there. On a monetary policy front, we have a very conservative regulator, and we know they put very good guardrails so that we don't go off track. The government is fiscally very responsible. So I see the macro are very strong, and in the context of the overall macro, India is also powering entrepreneurship, and nothing grows a country better than entrepreneurship.
Right. But Vedi, I want to understand, obviously IDFC FIRST is one of the largest banks in India, and the journey that it has witnessed is actually remarkable. But at the same time, it is also known as a bank which really cares for MSMEs and this entire segment. And you have remained committed to this cause for many years. Today, in today's time and age, and with the optimism that we are witnessing about India, what are the first few things that come to your mind when we speak about the MSME ecosystem in India?
First of all, when we talk of India and India's growth, we should be very clear that naturally the entrepreneurship is MSMEs are small entrepreneurs. So large entrepreneurs, small entrepreneurs, everybody is going to have a massive time of growth in the next 20-25 years, and everyone should enjoy this growth. But if you ask me one thing that comes to my mind, just one thing, when I look around India and look at the opportunities, I'm really blown away by the amount of investment and infrastructure that is happening. The Bharat Mala, the Gati Shakti program, 100 lakh crores, $1.3 trillion, national infrastructure pipeline, another one, it's another $1.3 trillion. It's just roads, bridges, infrastructure. Last week I was in Varanasi, and I was speaking to the cab driver, and he was telling me every location from Varanasi to the nearby location has the time to travel is cut down by 50%. If it's 7 hours, it's 3 hours. If it's 2 hours, it's 1 hour. Something is happening massive on infrastructure.
But Vedi, I also want to know, one is obviously the infrastructure growth that we are witnessing. In fact, today, it's a momentous occasion because India's longest sea bridge is also being inaugurated. It was inaugurated in Mumbai today, MTHL. But, one is the spending that is happening on infrastructure. How does it trickle down to the smallest of the businesses which are part of Indian ecosystem, or I would say Indian economy?
It just comes naturally. You see, for example, if you have, suppose the same 100 lakh crores which the government has planning to invest in infrastructure, suppose the government gave it away to the people of the country for in the form of, some needs here or there, that would just reach the poor. No road, no bridge, nothing will get constructed. But the same money now is reaching people, but is reaching through infrastructure. So you build, kind of roads and infrastructure we're talking about. Remember, God is not coming and building it. Some contractor is building it. And whether it's L&T or large firm, small firm, they in turn employ the next contractor. They in turn employ the next contractor. Finally, it's the person who's putting the roads and the bridges and the pavements and the cement. Everybody is going to benefit from that, and the whole chain. And finally, they have employees. Those employees have families. So money reaches them, reaches the last mile.
Vaidhi, before we move on, I want to understand. Obviously, I can understand that it is actually reaching the last mile. There is a view that this growth currently is being driven to a very large extent by the government spending, the spending that is happening on infrastructure and various other projects across the country. You are one of the largest banks in India today. You deal with corporates, you deal with MSMEs, you fund so many projects, you fund so many businesses. According to you, where are we on the curve of the capex cycle, the private investment cycle at this point, before we talk more about the MSME ecosystem?
Yes, of course. I think you must have heard commentary now coming along with the kind of, for many years along the way, the capex was not reviving and the government was spending. So with the kind of economic growth, now we're talking about 7% or 7.3% real growth now, and the nominal is probably like 11 or 12%. It's been compounding for the last 3-4 years, post-COVID, let me say 2 years after COVID. So that has caused demand. So just capex is around the corner. I'd say that we are already beginning to see demand for projects now already in our bank. And I think, our bank is more focused, of course, on smaller consumers and retailers. But in a bank platform, we can see that the capex revival is around the corner. People are already demand coming in.
Right. When we spoke about infrastructure, I want to actually touch upon digital infrastructure, because the kind of growth that we have witnessed in the sheer scale of digital infrastructure that India has created, it started with Jam Trinity, but today that conversation has moved much ahead. And we are actually seeing a lot of inclusive growth and participation across the spectrum. What is the impact of this digital infrastructure on Indian economy?
It's dramatic because, when we talk of digital infrastructure, we actually mean even the telecom industry, even the Aadhaar, everybody getting a biometric is a very essential, think of it like a digital infrastructure. People can identify themselves. Bharat, the optic network structure that's coming about, internet connectivity is going up. So any which way you look at it, I think we all know that a massive, massive digital infrastructure is coming about. And that is, I think, one of the amazing Indian miracles India has done over the last maybe 10 years or so, which did not exist for the last many years. It has a deep influence, impact on everybody, not just the large entrepreneurs, even on the people sitting in the room right now.
Right. But what is the impact of this massive digital infrastructure at the bottom of the pyramid?
See, it's like I said, impacts everybody. But I'll give you an example. You think of, let me say POS machines. Before let me say until 5-8 years ago, there were no QR codes. There were only POS machines. So POS machines, the physical one which in a restaurant you used to swipe a credit card on. You could put 500,000, 1 million of them, 2 million of them, because they have limitations on how much you could put. Today, by some estimate, there are close to 100 million QR codes, merchants. Think about it, over 100 million QR merchants. Now think about it, that each one of those people are probably dealing in cash. Now those 100 million people are dealing through QR and money is going to the bank account. Can you imagine the impact of that and how much formalization that happens? And, for each of those people, now there is a digital trail that is part of the digital benefits of infrastructure. And finally, I'd say I have to enable trade. This will enable trade. For example, if you're at a shop and earlier you said chutta nahi hai, no transaction would happen, but now there's a QR, transactions are happening. So in my opinion, this decision is actually enabling transactions and micro businesses at the bottom of the pyramid, which should not have happened in the physical world. So trade is enabled for the small entrepreneurs.
It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching IDFC FIRST Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11 Award Special Edition. Tonight on the show, Mr. V Vaidyanathan, MD and CEO of IDFC FIRST Bank, is in conversation with Mihir Bhatt, Managing Editor, Times Network and Business Head, Times Influence. Listen in.
Vaidya, if I may ask, what makes you more optimistic than ever before about the entire MSME ecosystem in India at this point?
Well, I feel very optimistic because of very good reason. One is because Indian economy is growing, we talked about that, but also because the fact that government is focusing on it, RBI wants it to happen, banks want it to happen, asset quality is very good, the digitization is taking the, enabling it in a very big way, formalization of the economy is happening, infrastructure investment is happening, economy. So all these things are all powering the micro entrepreneur. It is like saying, let me say, before all these things existed, let me say, people used to call SMEs like, there'll be NPAs and only negative terms are associated with that. Like Rahu, that was the Rahu Kal of SMEs, let me say, maybe even 10, 15 years ago. Now it's the Amrit Kal of SMEs coming, let me say, because of this whole thing.
Right. So, I won't be wrong if I say that the Amrit Kal for the economy and for India is obviously starting at the bottom of the pyramid, and we can call it Amrit Kal for SMEs and MSMEs also.
I think Amrit Kal of SMEs is coming really because for the reasons I described.
Right. Vaidya, I want to understand, everybody talks about MSME ecosystem and there are a lot of things being done by the government, a lot of initiatives being taken by the government. As a leading bank, what are your major initiatives which can directly kickstart, the growth engine in this space, MSME space? What are the key initiatives that you are looking at launching?
See, it's not only our bank. I think almost all banks are now lending to MSMEs much more than what they did earlier. And they're also lending it more safely. They have much lesser NPA. SMEs have become a good word, let me tell you, and that's a massive shift that has happened in the banking system. People talk well of them in a positive way. So I think people should take, a lot of, they should take a positive note of that. As far as our bank is concerned, we are, as you know, to your own program here, Leader of Tomorrow, it's been 11 series in a row we are associated with, and we are part of co-creating these programs. We love this, this segment. Now, one thing we do very special is that we introduced a very unique product very recently, maybe about a month ago, where we introduced a product called Bravo. It's a unique name, Bravo. It was just a name we were using while making the product, and it just stuck the name of the product, Bravo. In this, what we do is that for people having current account with our bank, we are giving them an option to prescribe a cutoff limit about rupees 2 lakhs. It's for them to choose any number about 2 lakhs. And any number above 2 lakhs in that example, we convert it to a fixed deposit automatically. So the customer in a current account moves money to FD automatically without you having to call us. And we start giving you interest rate of FD, say 7.5% for 1 year. Now, if you want the money, we break the FD back and bring it back. And you get the interest depending on the number of days you kept the money. So this is one very, very special current account. And best part is, for breaking the FD and coming back, there's no penalty. It's a straightforward, I think it's something very, very special to start earning money on a current account in the form of fixed deposits.
I'm sure other banks must be wondering how you are managing this product
Well,
because
I can tell you that everything in this bank we've done is something very special. On savings account, we came up with the first bank to come up with the concept of monthly interest credit. We abolished fees. We just made it very easy to bank. Now we're coming to current accounts, and I think our entrepreneurs sitting here, if you don't have a current account with us, you should have open one. It's very special that about 2 lakhs you make an automatic FD out of it, and you earn interest on it.
Right. Mr. Vaidyanathan, I want to understand, we spoke about the positive impact that's happening on MSMEs as India grows and as economy progresses. Obviously, there must be some challenges or some, every coin has a good and a bad side as well. So I want to understand what are the challenges that today's MSME ecosystem faces, and at the same time, the digital revolution is, one part of it, but the technological advancement that's happening globally, AI, data centers, metaverse, all of this is coming together, and probably everybody has a doubt or question in their minds, including the people who are sitting here, that how it will impact them. So what are the challenges of this great digital revolution that's happening globally, led by India?
There are challenges, and let me just say that the big thing going around all of lives we know is the digitization, and the whole world is going digital. Ecosystems are changing digital. Now SMEs who are not able to or not quick enough to pivot to the digital world will pay a big price, or if you will just simply get left out. When people are not able to digitize and keep pace with the digital world, people will pay a price. And therefore, if you call yourself leaders of tomorrow, and I'm hoping everybody here really focuses on that.
Right. Vedi, I want to understand because, you deal with so many MSMEs and you travel across the country throughout the year, keep meeting them. What are the typical pain points? Because one is, financing them or funding them, which you are doing, and you are doing a great work. But what are other pain points? If they really want to grow into a leader tomorrow, then obviously there are business structure issues, the business ecosystem related issues. How do they future proof their businesses? What are their pain points that you have observed or witnessed?
The issue comes really for the mid-sized companies or smaller companies with say 20 employees, 50 employees, 100 employees, or a turnover or your profitability is quite low. You can't afford a HR software. You can't afford a legal solution. So these are the kind of problems these enterprise, or suppose you want to make a website. If you're a large corporation, you can make a website. If you're a small company or a kirana shop, or you're a chemist shop, you want a website for yourself, you can't make it because these are the kind of problems people face.
Mr. Vaidyanathan, budget is around the corner. And I understand it's an interim budget, but this government is very ambitious in terms of sustaining the economic growth. And the Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi himself has kept this target in front of us that by 2047, India has to become a developed nation. Do you have any specific steps in mind or any specific ideas which can be implemented through this budget?
I believe that it will be a regular budget because we should build the country for the longer run. We should always think long. And we already put a plan, Viksit Bharat, and we should all the things that take us there. So, nothing more than that. But this bit about having a progressive tax structure where small enterprises have to pay less tax, I do wish that.
Right. Mr. Vaidyanathan, while we will announce the awards later in the evening, but would you like to give any message to the winners, nominees, and everybody who participated in Leaders of Tomorrow Awards Season 11? Any message from you for them?
First of all, heartiest compliments for coming this far. And secondly, the period between now to the next 8 or 10 years looks really phenomenal for the country, from the fact that, for the reasons we described earlier, and both in terms of demographics plus governance plus entrepreneurship, all that looks really phenomenal, and it's a once in a lifetime decade or 2 decades coming up, and please make the most of it. But don't take success also for granted. if we can't play the new economy on its terms, it'll leave us behind, and you won't be leaders for tomorrow.
Right. Mr. Vaidyanathan, thank you so much for joining us. And from all of us, we wish you a speedy recovery and hope to see you in person very soon. Thank you so much, sir.
Very soon. I'm already feeling good. So thank you very much, Mihir, and everybody at the ET Now, and all of you viewers today. Thank you.
With that, it's a wrap on part 2 of our special awards edition. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.